I should have known something was wrong when Marcus kissed my forehead that morning. He never did that. Not unless he was hiding something. "Stay close to the group today," he'd said. His eyes not quite meeting mine. "The northern woods can be dangerous." Dangerous? But what a joke. Now I'm lying in a ravine with a broken leg, watching the sun sink below the treeline. And the only danger was the people I called family. My pack. The wolves who were supposed to protect me. They pushed me. All of them. Even Sarah, my so-called best friend, who couldn't look at me as Marcus gave the order. "She's dead weight," he'd announced to the council. "An omega who can't shift, who can't contribute. She's draining our resources." Resources? That's what I'd become. Not Emma. Not the girl who healed their children with herbs, who kept their histories, who loved them despite being different. Just dead weight. The fall should have killed me. Maybe they think it did. The snap of my leg echoed through the ravine like a gunshot, and I'd screamed until my throat bled. But they'd already gone. I heard their paws thundering away, felt the pack bond severing like a rope fraying thread by thread until there was nothing left but empty air where family used to be. I'm going to die here. That's not self-pity, it's just math. No food. No water nearby. A leg bent at an angle that makes my stomach turn. And night is coming. The northern woods belong to something else after dark. Everyone knows that. We just never talk about what. Temperature drops fast. October in the mountains doesn't mess around. I drag myself against a boulder, every movement sending white-hot agony through my leg. My fingers are already numb. My lips taste like copper and dirt. This is it. This is how it ends. 23 years old, abandoned by my own kind, dying alone in a ditch. Close my eyes. That's when I feel it. Impossible, searing heat rolling over me in waves. My eyes snap open and I forget how to breathe. A dragon. An actual honest-to-God dragon is standing at the edge of the ravine, staring down at me with eyes like molten gold. Scales the color of midnight shimmer in the dying light, each one the size of my hand. Wings that could blot out the moon are folded against a body that's all muscle and ancient power. Dragons are extinct. That's what everyone knows. The shifters were hunted down centuries ago, killed off one by one until there were none left. Fairy tales. But fairy tales don't have heartbeats that shake the ground. Myths don't make the air taste like smoke and lightning. The dragon's nostrils flare. It's scenting me, deciding if I'm worth the effort or just another dying thing in its territory. "Please," I whisper, though I don't know what I'm asking for. Death might be a mercy at this point. The dragon's head tilts, almost curious. Then it begins to shrink. Bones crack and reshape, scales melting into skin, wings folding into the broad shoulders of a man who definitely shouldn't exist. He's naked. Of course he is, that's how shifting works, but I barely notice because his face is stopping my heart. Sharp jaw dusted with stubble. Dark hair that falls into those impossible golden eyes. A body covered in scars that tell stories of survival. And he's walking down into the ravine. "Heard me. Wolf," he says, and his voice is gravel and smoke. "You're dying. Thanks for the update." Even now, sarcasm is my defense mechanism. Are you here to help or just watch? Something flickers across his face. Surprise, maybe. "Your pack left you." It's not a question, but I answer anyway. "Yeah. They're not big on charity cases." He crouches in front of me, and I catch his scent. Pine and ash and something wild that makes my broken omega instincts sit up and pay attention. This close, I can see the gold in his eyes isn't just color. It's actual light, burning from somewhere deep inside. "You're not a shifter," he observes. "Thanks for pointing that out too. You're really on a roll with the obvious tonight." His lips twitch. Almost a smile. "You're injured. And you're naked. We're both having a weird day." This time he does smile, and it transforms his entire face. He looks younger. Less like death walking. "I'm going to touch you now. It will hurt. Everything already hurts. What's a little more, Jesus?" His hands are on my leg, and it's not pain, it's fire. Literal fire burning through my veins. And I'm screaming again, but this time something is happening. The bone is moving, snapping back into place with a sound that's going to haunt my nightmares. The swelling is going down. The pain is fading. When he pulls away, my leg is straight. Still bruised, still tender, but whole. What? How did you? Dragon fire. He stands, offering me his hand. It heals. Among other things. I take his hand because what else am I going to do? And the moment our skin touches, the world explodes. Not literally. But something inside me tears open, and I feel it, the bond. The mating bond. Snapping into place with the inevitability of gravity. Tying me to this stranger. This impossible man who is supposedly the last of his kind. His eyes go wide. He feels it too. No, he breathes, taking a step back. No, that's not, that can't. What the hell was that? My heart is trying to escape my chest. We can't. He's shaking his head, looking at me like I'm a bomb about to explode. You're a wolf. This doesn't happen. Our kinds don't mate. Well, apparently someone forgot to tell our biology that. He runs a hand through his hair, and I notice his hand is trembling. This ancient, powerful creature is scared. Of me. Of this. I'm Kael, he finally says. Emma. Emma. He tastes my name like wine. This is a problem. Yeah, I'm getting that impression. Your pack will come back for you. It's my turn to laugh, bitter and sharp. No, they won't. That's kind of the whole point of abandoning someone to die. When they realize you're alive, they won't care. I'm not pack anymore. They made that clear. Kael studies me for a long moment, and I feel the weight of centuries in that gaze. You have nowhere to go. Nope. No one to protect you. Just me, myself, and my sparkling personality. And now you're mated to the last dragon shifter in existence, which makes you a target for every hunter, collector, and council in the supernatural world. Is this supposed to be a pep talk? Because you're really bad at it. That almost smile again. Come with me. Where? My territory. It's not far. He glances at the darkening sky. The woods aren't safe after dark. Things hunt here. Worse things than wolves or dragons. And I should trust you because... Kael looks at me, really looks at me, and I see something raw in his expression. Because I'm your mate now. Whether I like it or not, whether you like it or not. That bond. He touches his chest. It means I'll die before I let anything hurt you. That's not a choice. That's just what is. I should be terrified. I should run. But my pack threw me away like trash, and this stranger, this mythical, impossible stranger, just healed me and claimed me and is offering sanctuary when I have nothing left. Okay, I hear myself say. Okay. He nods once, then shifts again. The transformation is quicker this time, almost casual. The dragon lowers itself, and I realize what he's offering. You want me to ride you. That's not, we just met, the bond doesn't mean. The dragon huffs, and smoke curls from its nostrils. Even in this form, I can feel his exasperation through the bond. Fine. Fine. I climb onto his back, settling between his shoulder blades where the scales are smoothest. But if you drop me, the bond won't protect you from my fury. I feel the rumble of his laughter through his entire body. Then his wings snap open, and we're launching into the air, and I'm flying. I'm flying on the back of a dragon who just became my mate, leaving behind the pack that wanted me dead, heading toward a future I can't begin to imagine. My scream echoes across the mountains, but this time it's not pain, it's freedom. Kael's territory turns out to be a cave system built into the side of a mountain. But calling it a cave is like calling a mansion a house. These aren't crude holes in the rock. They're chambers carved and shaped over centuries, with smooth walls and natural skylights that let in moonbeams. Phosphorescent moss provides soft light, and there's actual furniture. Rough-hewn but comfortable. You live here. I breathe, turning in a slow circle. Alone. For the last 60 years. Kael's human again. now dressed in worn leather pants he pulled from a chest. Before that, my clan lived here. All of us. What happened to them? His jaw tightens. Hunters. The Council of Supernatural Order decided dragons were too dangerous to coexist with other shifters. Too powerful. So they hired hunters. Silver bullets for the wolves, iron for the fae, and dragon's bane for us. He touches a scar on his chest. I survived because I was young. Small enough to hide while they slaughtered my family. The pain in his voice makes my chest ache. Kael. Don't. He holds up a hand. I've had decades to make peace with it. Doesn't mean I trust easily. Doesn't mean I ever plan to. He gestures between us. This. Take on a broken omega with a death wish. You don't have a death wish. He studies me with those unsettling golden eyes. You have a survival wish. There's a difference. No one's ever seen me that clearly before. It's uncomfortable and comforting at the same time. Why didn't you shift? He asks suddenly. When your pack turned on you. Why didn't you fight? The old shame rises, hot and familiar. Because I can't. I'm what they call a null. Born to shifters but unable to shift myself. No wolf form. No pack magic. Just human. Useless. Not useless. Kael crosses the space between us in 3 strides. That bond we feel. It only forms between true mates. Compatible souls. If you were useless, the bond wouldn't exist. Maybe your dragon is broken too. He laughs, sharp and surprising. Maybe. But I don't think so. His hand comes up, hesitates, then tucks a strand of hair behind my ear. The touch sends sparks across my skin. The bond is already pulling at me. Wanting to protect you. Provide for you. Keep you close. That's probably just dragon instincts. You know, hoarding treasure and all that. You think you're treasure. I think I'm a liability you got stuck with. Kael's expression softens. My kind mate once. One time one mate for our entire lives. When they die we don't survive long after. The bond is everything. His thumb brushes my cheekbone. So no, Emma. You're not a liability. You're the only thing in this world that could make me vulnerable. That terrifies me. But it also means you're the most valuable thing in my existence. I don't know what to say to that. How do you respond when someone tells you you're their everything before you've even shared a meal? I should clean up, I manage. I probably smell like fear and ravine. There's a hot spring in the back chamber. I'll bring you clothes. The hot spring is heaven. Natural mineral water heated by volcanic activity deep in the mountain, surrounded by more of that glowing moss. I sink into it with a groan, letting the heat work through my battered muscles. My leg is healed but still tender, the bruises fading to green and yellow. I'm alive. Against all odds I'm alive. And mated to a dragon. The insanity of it hits me all at once, and I laugh until I cry, the sound echoing off the stone walls. When I emerge, dressed in clothes that are definitely Kael's, the shirt hangs to my knees, I find him cooking. Actually cooking, over a fire pit with a grate. The smell makes my stomach growl loud enough to echo. When did you last eat? He asks without turning around. Yesterday morning. Maybe. He mutters something in a language I don't recognize. Probably ancient dragon cursing, and dishes up 2 plates of what looks like rabbit stew with wild herbs. We eat in silence for a while. I'm too hungry for conversation, and he seems content to watch me with that intense focus. Dragons probably evolved for hunting. So, I finally say, wiping my mouth. What happens now? Now we figure out how to survive this. Kael leans back against the wall. The bond will strengthen over the next few days. You'll start feeling my emotions. I'll sense when you're in danger. Eventually, it will be uncomfortable to be apart. How romantic. It's not meant to be romantic. It's meant to be permanent. His eyes find mine. I need you to understand something. Your old pack might not want you, but there are others who will. Dragons are thought to be extinct. If word gets out that one survived, and that he's mated, we'll have every supernatural faction in North America hunting us. Why? Dragon blood is valuable. Our scales can be forged into unbreakable armor. Our fire can power magical artifacts. Our hearts. He pauses. Our hearts, when consumed fresh, supposedly grant the eater our strength and longevity. The stew turns to ash in my mouth. That's barbaric. That's survival. The strong prey on the weak. Always have. You're not weak. No. But I am alone. And now I have something to lose. His gaze is heavy with meaning. You. The weight of responsibility settles on my shoulders. I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask to be abandoned or bonded or suddenly valuable. But here I am. Teach me, I hear myself say. Teach you what? How to fight. How to survive. You said I'm not useless, so prove it. Make me useful. Kael's eyes light with something like respect. You want to train. I want to make sure I'm never weak enough to be thrown away again. He's quiet for a long moment, studying me. Then he nods. We start tomorrow. But tonight you rest. Your body has been through trauma. He shows me to a sleeping chamber. His chamber, I realize, with a bed piled with furs and a view of the stars through a natural skylight. Where will you sleep? Yes. I'll keep watch. Kael, you don't have to. Yes, I do. His voice is soft but firm. The bond is new. My dragon is demanding I stay close. Make sure you're safe. Sleeping in the same room while you're vulnerable would be difficult. Understanding dawns. Oh, yeah. Oh, I smile. Dragons aren't known for their restraint. Give me a few days to adjust. I should be insulted. Instead, I'm oddly touched that he's trying to be respectful despite what must be overwhelming instinct. Thank you, I say quietly. For saving me. For bringing me here. For not treating me like dead weight. Kael steps closer, and his hand cups my face with surprising gentleness. You were never dead weight, Emma. Your pack was just too blind to see what you're worth. Then he's gone, leaving me alone with my racing heart and the feeling of his touch still burning on my skin. I crawl into his bed, surrounded by his scent, and fall asleep wondering how my life became a fairy tale I never asked for. But also wondering if maybe, just maybe, this is the beginning of something better than what I lost. I wake to the smell of smoke and coffee, an odd combination that somehow works. Morning light streams through the skylight, painting everything gold. For a moment I forget where I am. Then the bond pulses warm in my chest, and I remember everything. Dragon. No going back. I find Kael outside on a stone ledge that overlooks a valley of endless forest. He's shirtless, going through what looks like a fighting form, fluid movements that are part martial art, part dance. His muscles ripple under scarred skin, and I try very hard not to stare. Fail completely. You're awake, he says without turning around. How did you? The bond. I felt you wake. He finishes his form and faces me, barely winded. How do you feel? Honestly. Confused. Overwhelmed. Terrified. Hopeful. But I go with hungry. That almost smile. I brought back deer. Can you cook? Can I cook? I practically ran the pack kitchen. Someone had to make sure those idiots didn't survive on raw meat alone. Good. You cook, I'll clean the kill. Fair trade. We fall into an easy rhythm. He brings me the prepared meat, and I work magic with the herbs growing wild around the cave mouth. Rosemary, thyme, wild garlic. Soon the smell of roasting venison fills the air, and Kael watches me with undisguised fascination. What? I ask, self-conscious. You make it look like art. The way you move, taste, adjust. My mother used to cook like that. Like it meant something. The past tense lands heavy between us. Tell me about her. He's quiet for so long I think he won't answer. Then, she was fierce. A warrior before she was a mother. But she could also be gentle. She used to sing old dragon songs while she cooked. His voice roughens. I haven't heard those songs in 60 years. I'm sorry. Don't be. Pain means they mattered. That they were real. He stands abruptly. Eat. Then we train. Training with a dragon shifter is nothing like training with wolves. Wolves teach through pack mentality. Group drills establishing hierarchy, learning your place. Kael teaches like I'm the only student in the world who matters. 'Cause right now I am. Wolves rely on their shift, their pack bonds, their numbers, he explains, circling me on the training ledge. You have none of that. So we build different strengths. Speed over power. Strategy over brute force. Survival over victory. Inspiring pep talk. I'm not here to inspire you. I'm here to keep you alive. He tosses me a wooden staff. Defend yourself. I barely catch it before he's attacking. Not his dragon form, that would be overkill. But his human form is dangerous enough. He moves like water, like wind, like nothing I've ever seen. His staff cracks against mine, and the impact rattles my bones. Too slow, he says, striking again. You're thinking. Don't think. React. Easy for him to say. He's had centuries of practice. I got 3 minutes and growing panic. His staff sweeps my legs out from under me. I hit the stone hard enough to knock the wind from my lungs. Again, he says, offering his hand. We go again. And again. And again. Each time I last maybe 5 seconds longer before ending up on my back, bruised and frustrated. I can't do this, I gasp after the dozenth fall. You're right. You can't. He pulls me up roughly. That Emma, the one who believed what her pack said about her, she can't. She's too busy proving them right. He gets in my face, gold eyes blazing. But the Emma who survived a 40-foot fall, who mouthed off to a dragon instead of cowering, she can do anything. That's not. Stop thinking. He shoves the staff back in my hands. Stop doubting. Move. He attacks and something in me snaps. Not breaks, snaps into place. I'm not thinking about forms or technique or keeping up. I'm just moving. The staff becomes an extension of my arms. When he strikes high, I duck low. When he sweeps left, I roll right. I don't win. But I don't lose as fast either. Better, Kael says, and the approval in his voice warms me more than it should. Again. We train until my muscles scream. Until sweat stings my eyes and my hands blister. Until the sun starts sinking toward the horizon and every part of me hurts. Enough, Kael finally says. You did well. I got my ass kicked for 6 hours straight. Yes, but you got up every time. He offers me water from a canteen. That's what matters. Not winning. Getting up. I drink deeply, then splash some on my overheated face. Is this what you did? After your clan died? You just got up. I didn't have a choice. Dragons mate once. My parents were bonded. When my father died, my mother. He trails off, but I understand. She held on long enough to hide me, to make sure I survived. Then she let go. God, Kael. It was a long time ago. But the pain in his eyes says otherwise. The point is, I survived because I had to. You'll survive because you choose to. That's stronger. I don't feel strong. I feel like a mess of bruises and doubts. But I nod anyway. That night, I'm too sore to do more than collapse. Kael brings me salve that smells like mint and magic, and his hands are surprisingly gentle as he rubs it into my worst bruises. This will help, he murmurs. Are all dragons this nice to their accidental mates? I don't know. You're the only one I've got. His hand lingers on my shoulder. The bond is getting stronger. Can you feel it? It's like a golden thread connecting us, humming with warmth and awareness. I know he's concerned without him saying so. Know he's fighting the urge to pull me closer. Yeah, I whisper. I feel it. It will keep growing. In a few days, we'll be able to share emotions completely. Eventually, thoughts. That sounds invasive. It is. But it also means you'll never be truly alone again. His thumb traces small circles on my skin. For someone who was abandoned, Maybe that's not the worst thing. He's right. The idea of that kind of connection, of never being invisible again, is terrifying and wonderful in equal measure. What if I'm not enough? The question slips out before I can stop it. What if you get stuck with me and realize you deserved better? Kael's hand tightens on my shoulder. Emma, look at me. I do, and the intensity in his golden eyes steals my breath. I've been alone for 60 years, watching the world change, watching other shifters find mates, build families, create lives while I hid in a cave waiting to be the last dragon to ever exist. I'd accepted that loneliness as my fate. His other hand cups my face. Then you fell into my territory, broken and abandoned and so damn defiant I couldn't look away. The bond chose you. My dragon chose you. And maybe I'm starting to choose you too. Kael. So stop asking if you're enough. You're everything. The only question is whether I'm enough for you. Before I can think better of it, I lean forward and kiss him. It's not graceful. Our noses bump, and I probably taste like sweat and venison. But his lips are warm and his hand slides into my hair, and the bond flares so bright I see stars behind my closed eyes. When we break apart, we're both breathing hard. That was... Kael starts. A mistake. No. His forehead rests against mine. Inevitable. 3 days pass in a blur of training, talking, and learning to live with the bond. Kael teaches me to fight with knives, to read the forest, to move silently. I teach him that coffee exists and is superior to his bitter herb tea, that laughing doesn't make him weak, and that he's been alone too long. The bond is a constant presence now. I feel his moods like weather patterns. The calm focus when he hunts, the fierce protectiveness when I'm out of sight, the simmering heat when we're close. He feels my determination, my growing confidence, and, embarrassingly, my increasing attraction to him. We don't talk about the kiss. But we don't need to. It's there in every shared glance, every accidental touch, every night when he stops at my doorway like he's fighting the urge to stay. On the 4th morning, everything changes. I'm gathering herbs near the forest edge when the bond suddenly screams danger. Not words, just pure primal alarm flooding through me. Kael's alarm. Run. I find him in dragon form on the main ledge, wings spread in threat display. Below in the valley are riders. At least a dozen, armed with weapons that gleam silver in the morning sun. Hunters. Well, well, a voice calls up, amplified by magic. The rumors were true. The last dragon really does still exist. A woman rides forward. Tall, blonde, wearing armor that's seen real combat. Something about her makes my skin crawl. And he's got himself a little pet, she continues, her gaze finding me. How adorable. Tell me, dragon, does she know what you are? What you've done? Kael's growl shakes the mountain. No. Let me educate her. The woman's smile is poison. Your mate there. He's not just the last dragon. He's the last dragon because he killed the others. Liar. I shout before I can stop myself. Am I? Ask him about the fall of the dragon clan. Ask him who betrayed them to the hunters. She pauses for effect. Ask him about the gold he took in exchange for his family's location. The world tilts. I look at Kael and through the bond I feel guilt. Old buried, festering guilt. Kael. My voice breaks on his name. The dragon shifts, becomes the man, and his face is devastated. Emma, it's not, she's twisting the truth. But there is truth to twist. My heart is breaking all over again. Isn't there? They were going to find us anyway, he says desperately. The hunters had us surrounded. I was 16, Emma. They caught me, tortured me, and said if I didn't tell them where the clan gathered for the full moon, they'd kill me slowly and find them anyway. So you told them. I told them. His voice cracks. I thought I was so stupid. I thought if I gave them the location they'd let me go and I could warn everyone. But they kept me chained. Made me watch through a window while they slaughtered my entire clan. Men, women, children. Everyone I loved. Tears stream down his face, and through the bond, I feel 60 years of self-hatred, of survivor's guilt, of believing he deserved to die but being too cowardly to do it. The gold was planted on me, he continues, to make it look like betrayal instead of torture. So the other shifter communities would blame me instead of the hunters. And it worked. I've been alone ever since because I deserve to be alone. The woman below laughs. Touching story. Doesn't change the facts. You led hunters to your family. You're the last dragon because of your own weakness. And now history repeats because we followed you here, little Omega. We've been tracking you since your pack so kindly reported an abandoned wolf in the northern woods. My pack. They sold me out even in death. We weren't sure what we'd find, the hunter continues. But a dragon. And freshly mated. This is beyond our wildest hopes. She raises her hand, and her people aim crossbows. You can come quietly or we can take you in pieces. Dragon parts sell for just as much either way. Kael shifts back to dragon form, placing himself between me and the hunters. Through the bond his message is clear: run. Please Emma, run. But I've been running my whole life. From my pack's expectations. From my own self-doubt. From connection because I was afraid of being hurt. I'm done running. Kael, I say quietly. You know those dragon fire healing powers you have? His massive head turns slightly toward me. Can you do that in reverse? Make fire that hurts instead of heals. A low rumble that might be a chuckle. Through the bond, yes. Then stop protecting me and start fighting. I didn't train for 4 days to be dead weight again. I feel his surprise. His fear. His desperate love through the bond. And yes, it's love now, raw and new and terrifying. But also his pride. The dragon roars, and it's not surrender. It's a declaration of war. Take them, the hunter screams. All hell breaks loose. Kael launches into the air, wings creating winds that knock 3 riders from their horses. Fire blooms from his jaws, not the healing gold fire, but red-orange destruction. The hunter woman rolls aside, barely avoiding being cooked in her armor. An arrow flies past my head. I drop, grab the knife Kael made me carry, and come up throwing. Takes one hunter in the shoulder. Not lethal, but enough to make him drop his crossbow. The girl, someone shouts. Get the girl and the dragon will surrender. 3 hunters break away, charging up the path toward me. My training kicks in. I don't think. I move. The first one reaches me, sword raised. I dodge inside his guard like Kael taught me. Drive my blade toward his exposed armpit. He screams, drops his weapon. The second one is smarter, more cautious. We circle each other. Then Kael lands between us, his tail whipping around to send the hunter flying. Through the bond behind you. I spin. Block a strike from hunter number 3. He's stronger, his blade knocking mine away. For a moment I'm defenseless. Then Kael's there in human form, catching the hunter's sword with his bare hand. His skin smokes but doesn't break. Dragon scales beneath human flesh. He rips the sword away and punches the hunter hard enough to drop him cold. You're insane, he tells me, breathing hard. Learned from the best. Below, the lead hunter is rallying her forces. Dragon's Bane arrows. Now, Dragon's Bane. The poison that killed Kael's family. We need to go, I say urgently. Kael, we can't win this. I'm not running again. His eyes are wild. I'm not losing someone else I love because I was too weak to fight. You're not weak. You're smart. Fighting isn't always the answer. I grab his face, making him look at me. Listen to me. You survived once by being clever. Do it again. We survived together or not at all. The bond pulses between us, and I feel his decision before he makes it. Hold on, he growls, shifting again. I scramble onto his back as arrows whistle past us. One grazes his wing, and I feel his pain through the bond like it's my own. We launch into the air. Kael's wings beat hard, carrying us up and away from the cave, from his home of 60 years. I look back and see the hunters flooding into the caves, tearing apart the only sanctuary he had. I'm sorry, I whisper against his scales. Through the bond, don't be. Home is just a place. You're what matters. We fly for hours. Past the northern woods, over mountains I don't recognize, until the sun sets and Kael finally lands in a dense forest clearing. He shifts back, immediately checking me for injuries. I'm fine, I assure him. You're the one who got shot. It's already healing. But I can see the wound in his shoulder. Smell the wrong scent of dragon's bane working through his system. He sways slightly. Kael, I'm fine. Just need to. He collapses. Panic floods through me. Through the bond I feel his pain, his systems trying to fight the poison. Dragon fire might heal me, but dragon's bane is specifically designed to shut down dragon biology. No, no, no. I catch him before he hits the ground completely. Don't you dare die on me. We did not just escape for you to die in a random forest. His eyes flutter open. Emma. Run. If the poison takes me. You can still. Still what? Go back to the pack that abandoned me. Become a lone wolf with no protection and a target on my back. I'm crying now, pressing my hands to his wound uselessly. You're my mate, you idiot. The bond goes both ways. I'm not leaving. Stubborn, he murmurs, but there's a faint smile. You have no idea. I don't know what I'm doing. But the bond is there, glowing between us, and I remember what Kael said about dragon fire. It heals. What if the bond can carry that healing? What if I can give back what he gave me? I close my eyes and reach for the bond. Not just feeling it but pulling on it, drawing it tight between us. I imagine pushing my strength into him, my determination, my absolute refusal to let him die. Emma, what are you? Heat blooms in my chest. Not painful but intense, like swallowing sunlight. It flows down my arms, into my hands, into his wound. Through my closed eyelids, I see gold light. Kael gasps. The dragon's bane poison burns away under the bond's power. It's not his dragon fire. It's something else. Something that comes from us being connected, from two people refusing to let go. When I open my eyes, his wound is closed. Still scarred, but no longer bleeding poison. How did you? Kael stares at me in wonder. I don't know. I just couldn't. I couldn't lose you too. He pulls me down to him, kissing me like I'm oxygen and he's been drowning. It's desperate and grateful and full of everything we haven't said yet. When we finally break apart, we're both shaking. We can't go back to the cave, he says finally. They'll be watching it. Waiting. Then where do we go? Kael looks up at the stars, thinking. There are other dragons. We're other dragons. If any survived like I did, they'd be in hiding. If we could find them, we'd have allies. We'd have family. His hand finds mine. I've heard rumors over the years. Sightings that were always dismissed. A dragon in the Canadian Rockies. Another in the Himalayas. They might be nothing. Or they might be everything. I squeeze his hand. Let's find out. He looks at me, really looks at me, and through the bond I feel his awe. You should hate me. For what I did. For what I am. What you are is someone who survived an impossible situation and has spent 60 years punishing himself for it. You were a child, Kael. A child who was tortured and manipulated. I cup his face. What I should do is hate the hunters who broke you. And I do. But you. I could never hate you. I don't deserve you. Lucky for you, I don't care what you deserve. Care about what you choose. And you chose to save me. Over and over you chose me. Always, he breathes. I'll always choose you. We stay there in the forest, holding each other while the bond settles into something deeper than instinct. Something like choice. Like love. Tomorrow we'll start searching. We'll hunt for lost dragons and dodge hunters and figure out how to survive in a world that wants us dead. But tonight we have each other. And somehow, impossibly, that's enough. Traveling with a dragon shifter is weird. We move at night, Kael flying us over territories in his dragon form while I cling to his back like a deranged bat. During the day we rest in caves, abandoned buildings, anywhere that offers shelter from prying eyes. We're heading north to Canada, chasing a rumor Kael heard 15 years ago about a dragon sighting in the Rockies. It's thin evidence, but it's all we have. I've gotten better at reading the bond. I know when Kael's hungry, tired, or stressed. He knows when I'm scared, which is more often than I'd like to admit. Being hunted does that to a person. We stop at a small town to resupply. Kael goes in human form, trying to look normal in worn jeans and a leather jacket. I wait outside, watching the streets nervously. That's when I see her. Sarah, my former best friend from the pack. She's coming out of a coffee shop, laughing with another wolf I recognize. Marcus's brother, Kael. My heart stops. I should hide. I should run. But before I can move, she sees me. Her face goes white. Emma! Sarah! My voice is ice. She approaches slowly, like I'm a wild animal that might bolt. Emma, oh my God, you're alive. We thought. Marcus said you were dead. Marcus pushed me off a cliff. So yeah, I can see why he'd think that. She flinches. I'm so sorry. I should have stopped him. I should have. You were there, Sarah. You watched them do it. Old pain surges up. You were my best friend. I know. Tears fill her eyes. I know, and I hate myself for it. Marcus said it was pack law. That the council decided. The council decided I was disposable. And you all agreed. Kael joins us, his expression guilty. Emma, listen. Things have changed. Marcus is dead. That stops me cold. What? 3 days after. After what happened to you. The pack was attacked. Hunters. They took out half the pack before we drove them off. He swallows hard. Marcus fought them and lost. The pack is scattered now. Broken. I should feel vindicated. Instead I just feel numb. Good. It's not good, Sarah says desperately. We're vulnerable. And the hunters. Emma, they're looking for you. They came to our territory asking about the abandoned Omega who was last seen in the northern woods. They said you're traveling with something valuable. My blood runs cold. What did you tell them? Nothing. We don't know anything. But they're offering money, Emma. Serious money. And some of the pack. She trails off, but I understand. Some of the pack would sell me out for survival. You need to run, Kael says urgently. Get as far from here as possible. I'm handling it. How? You're alone, powerless. She's not alone. Kael appears beside me so quietly even I didn't sense him coming. He's wearing his try-to-look-harmless face, but his eyes are pure predator. Sarah and Kael take an instinctive step back. They're wolves recognizing danger even if they don't understand why. Who the hell are you? Kael demands. Someone who values Emma more in one day than her pack did in 23 years. Kael's hand finds mine. We're leaving now. Wait. Sarah grabs my arm. Emma, please. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness. But I need you to know, I never stopped caring about you. I was a coward. I chose pack over you, and I'll regret it for the rest of my life. I look at her, really look at her. She's thinner, sadder, marked by the same violence that scattered her pack. Part of me wants to forgive her. Part of me wants to rage. I do neither. I hope you find what you're looking for, I tell her. A pack that's actually worth the loyalty you give it. Then Kael and I walk away, leaving my old life standing on a street corner, crying. You okay? He asks when we're out of sight. Not even a little bit. The bond pulses with his concern. But I will be. That night we don't fly. We find a motel room on the edge of town, the kind that takes cash and doesn't ask questions. Kael checks every window, every door. His dragon paranoia in full effect. We're safe, I tell him. We're never safe. But he relaxes slightly, sitting on the bed with a weary sigh. Seeing your old pack, was it hard? Yes. Well, I don't know. I sit beside him. Marcus is dead. Pack is broken. I should feel something about that, right? Justice or satisfaction or something. What do you feel? Empty. Like that part of my life happened to someone else. I lean against his shoulder. Is that wrong? No. That's survival. You've moved past them. That's healthy. Have you moved past your clan? He's quiet for a long moment. I'm trying. Meeting you helped. The bond helped. But some wounds don't heal completely. We just learn to live with the scars. I take his hand, tracing the scars on his knuckles. Will you tell me about them? Your family. Not how they died, but how they lived. Kael looks surprised, then soft. My father was huge. Even for a dragon. He used to let me ride on his back when I was young, teaching me to fly. My mother sang constantly. Old songs, new songs, made-up songs about whatever she was doing. My sister was only 8 when. He pauses, composing himself. She wanted to be a healer. She was always bringing home injured birds and trying to fix them with her fire. She sounds wonderful. They all were. And I cost them their lives. No. I turned to face him. Hunters cost them their lives. You were a victim too, Kael. A child who was tortured and used. You need to forgive yourself. How? His voice breaks. How do I forgive myself for that? The same way I'm learning to forgive myself for being born wrong. For not being what my pack needed. For believing I was worthless. I touch his face. We start by choosing to see ourselves the way we see each other. You think I'm valuable, right? Strong and brave and worth saving. Yes. Always. Then see yourself that way too. 'Cause you are. You're the strongest person I've ever met. And what happened to your family doesn't change that. Kael kisses me then, soft and desperate. It's different from the kiss in the cave. Less about passion and more about connection. About two broken people choosing to be whole together. When we finally sleep, it's tangled together. The bond humming between us like a second heartbeat. The mountains here are different. Older. Kael flies us higher, following some instinct he can't quite name. The bond helps him sense what I do. There's something here. Some presence that feels almost familiar. We land on a remote peak, and Kael shifts back, frowning. There. Do you feel it? Do. Through the bond, through my own senses, something alive and ancient watching us. Show yourself. Kael calls into the wind. I'm Kael of the mountain clan. I seek others of my kind. Silence. Then a voice like grinding stone. Your kind died decades ago. A dragon emerges from behind the rocks. Smaller than Kael, with scales like ice and eyes of palest blue. Female, I think, though I'm no expert on dragon physiology. You're alive, Kael breathes, and the hope in his voice makes my chest ache. I'm surviving. The dragon shifts, becomes a woman maybe 30 years old with white blonde hair and those same ice blue eyes. Who are you really, stranger? And why do you reek of wolf? I'm mated. Kael pulls me forward. This is Emma. The woman's eyes widen. You mated a wolf. Have you lost your mind? Probably. But that's not really the point. I extend my hand. I'm Emma. Human born to wolves, but unable to shift. Pleasure to meet another dragon who doesn't want to kill us. She stares at my hand like I'm offering her a snake, then slowly shakes it. Freya. Ace clan. Last of my kind. Or so I thought. How did you survive? Kael asks eagerly. I was hunting when the attack came. Far from the clan grounds. By the time I returned. She shakes her head. I've been alone for 70 years. I thought I was the last. You're not. There might be others. Freya laughs bitterly. Others? Where? I've searched for decades. Found nothing but bones and memories. The Himalayas, Kael insists. I heard reports. Reports from who? Humans who mistake eagles for dragons. Shifters who see what they want to see. Freya's expression hardens. We're extinct, Kael. A handful of survivors doesn't change that. We can't reproduce fast enough to rebuild. Can't trust anyone enough to gather. We're evolutionary dead ends. That's not true, I interject. Both dragons look at me. You're both alive. You both survived. That's not an ending, it's a beginning. A beginning to what? Freya challenges. We can't rebuild civilization with 2 dragons. Maybe not. But you can start something. A network. A way for survivors to find each other safely. I look at Kael. You've been alone because you thought you had to be. Both of you. But what if there are others who think the same thing? Others waiting for a sign that it's safe to come out of hiding. Kael's eyes light up. We could search together. Cover more ground. If there are others. If, Freya emphasizes. And if we find them, then what? We're still hunted. Still valuable. More dragons just means a bigger target. Or it means strength in numbers. Safety in community. I step closer to her. Look, I get it. Trusting again after being betrayed is terrifying. But living alone forever isn't really living. Just surviving. And you both deserve better than that. Freya studies me for a long moment. You're very optimistic for someone who's being hunted. I'm very stubborn for someone who should be dead. There's a difference. Despite herself, Freya smiles. I can see why you mated her. She's infuriating. In the best way, Kael agrees, and the warmth through the bond makes me blush. I'll think about it, Freya finally says. But I'm not promising anything. The last time I trusted someone, I woke up to find hunters in my territory. Someone betrayed you. A wolf shifter. Said he was my friend. Turned out he was working with hunters for immunity. Her ice blue eyes fix on me. So you'll understand if I'm not immediately thrilled about your mate being wolf-born. Fair point. We spend 3 days with Freya, slowly building trust. She teaches me about dragon history, the clans that used to exist, the territories they held, the complicated politics between different shifter species. Kael learns ice dragon techniques that differ from his fire dragon heritage. And slowly Freya thaws. On the 3rd night, sitting around a fire outside her cave, she finally says, "Fine. I'll help you search. But we do this smart. We don't go charging and making noise. We observe, verify, approach carefully." Agreed, Kael says immediately. And if we find hunters instead of dragons? We run, I finish. We're not heroes. We're survivors. Freya nods approvingly. You're smarter than you look, little wolf. I get that a lot. We found 2 more dragons. Takashi in Japan, an ancient dragon who'd been hiding as a mountain hermit for over a century. He joined us immediately, thrilled to discover others still lived. And Maria in Peru, young, only 40 years old, who'd been raised by humans after her clan was destroyed when she was a child. She cried when she met us, her first contact with her own kind in decades. 5 dragons. It's not enough to rebuild a species, but it's enough to build hope. We establish a network. Code words, safe houses, ways to communicate without attracting attention. We search for more, following whispers and rumors across continents. But the hunters are searching too. We're in Scotland when they finally catch up to us. The lead hunter, the same blonde woman from Kael's mountain, has a grudge now. We embarrassed her, escaped her trap, and she's not the forgiving type. This time she brings an army. You can't run forever, she calls across the valley where we've made camp. She has 50 hunters, maybe more. You're brave, I'll give you that. Building your little dragon family. But it ends here. Kael looks at me, at Freya, at Takashi and Maria. We can't fight them all. Not without casualties. Then we don't fight, I say, an idea forming. We negotiate. With hunters. Maria sounds horrified. They don't negotiate. They kill. They kill because dragons are valuable dead. But what if we're more valuable alive? Everyone stares at me like I've lost my mind. Maybe I have. But through the bond, I feel Kael's curiosity. His willingness to hear me out. What are you thinking, he asks. She wants a dragon, right? Something to prove her hunt was successful, to claim her prize. I step forward before anyone can stop me. Then let's give her one. Emma, no. Not literally. I turn to Kael. Dragon fire heals. Dragon scales are indestructible. Dragon blood has magical properties. What if instead of being hunted resources, you become willing resources? On your terms. Freya catches on first. A trade. We provide what they want, they stop hunting us. More than that. Treaty. Dragons become protected allies, not prey. You help when called, healing injuries, forging armor, whatever. In exchange, the supernatural community protects you instead of hunting you. Why would they agree to that? She asked. Because 5 dragons with grudges can do a lot of damage if we decide to stop hiding. Because we've proven we can evade them, and this hunt is costing resources they could use elsewhere. And because I look at the lead hunter. Because some people can be reasoned with. Maybe. That's a big maybe, Kael mutters. You have a better idea. He doesn't. None of us do. I walk down into the valley, hands raised, heart pounding. The hunters track me with their weapons, but the lead hunter raises a fist, hold fire. Brave little Omega, she says when I'm close enough to hear. Coming to beg for your mate's life. Coming to offer a deal. To force my voice steady. You want dragons. You have an entire organization built around hunting them. But what if you could have dragons working for you instead? Her eyes narrow. I'm listening. Right now you're spending time and resources hunting 5 dragons across the world. We're costing you money, personnel, and credibility every time we slip away. Take a breath. What if we stopped running? What if we integrated into supernatural society? Openly, publicly, with protections. Why would we agree to that? Because dragons aren't just valuable dead. Dragon fire can heal wounds that would kill normal shifters. Dragon scales can be shed and regrown. Renewable armor. Dragon senses can track things no other shifter can find. A step closer. You're treating us like resources to harvest. But resources get depleted. Allies last forever. You think you're valuable enough for that? I think you wouldn't have spent months hunting us if we weren't. The hunter studies me for a long moment. Then she laughs. A real laugh, not cruel. You've got guts, I'll give you that. But I don't make these decisions alone. The Council of Supernatural Order would have to agree. Then take it to them. Propose a treaty. Dragons become registered, protected members of supernatural society. In exchange they provide services, healing, tracking, defense. Controlled, regulated, but alive. And if the council says no? I meet her eyes. Then you keep hunting us and we keep running. But eventually we'll get tired of running. And you've seen what one dragon can do when he's protecting someone he loves. Imagine 5 who've decided they have nothing left to lose. It's a bluff mostly. We're not terrorists. But she doesn't know that. The hunter considers this, then nods slowly. I'll take it to the council. But you stay here. If you run, the deal is off and we hunt you to extinction. We'll stay. You have my word. The word of an abandoned Omega. He smirks. Forgive me if I want better collateral. Before I can respond, Kael lands beside me in dragon form. He shifts, naked and intimidating, and places a hand on my shoulder. You have my word, he says. The word of the last mountain clan dragon. We'll wait for the council's decision. But if you betray us, if this is a trap, I'll make sure everyone knows dragons aren't extinct. I'll make sure they know we can fight back. The hunter's expression shifts to something like respect. Fair enough. 1 week. I'll return with the council's decision. She and her hunters withdraw, and we're left standing in the valley, not quite believing what just happened. Did we just negotiate with hunters? Maria asks, still stunned. I think we did, Freya says slowly. That was either brilliant or the dumbest thing we've ever done. Both, I mutter. Definitely both. Kael pulls me into his arms, and through the bond, I feel his terror and pride warring with each other. Don't ever do that again. Walk into danger to save you. Pretty sure that's going to keep happening. Emma, I'm serious. If she decided to just shoot you. But she didn't. And now we have a chance. I pull back to look at him. A real chance to stop running. To build something. Isn't that worth the risk? You are, he says fiercely. You're worth any risk. But I can't lose you. You won't. We're bonded, remember? You're stuck with me. He kisses me then, desperate and relieved, and I kiss him back, ignoring the fact that we have an audience of 3 very amused dragons. The week passes slowly. We stay in the valley, taking turns keeping watch. The hunters watch us from a distance, making sure we don't flee. It's the most uncomfortable standoff in history. On the 7th day, the lead hunter returns. But she's not alone. 5 figures walk with her. Representatives from different supernatural communities. I recognize the symbols. Wolves, fae, vampires, witches, and something else I can't identify. This is it. The moment that decides everything. We gather in the center of the valley. 5 dragons and 5 council members, with the hunter acting as mediator. The council has considered your proposal. A vampire speaks first. His voice ancient and measured. Dragons becoming part of regulated supernatural society, providing services in exchange for protection. And, Kael asks, it's unprecedented. Dragons have been considered extinct for decades. Reintegrating an extinct species raises questions about other supposedly extinct shifters, about the validity of past hunts, about council authority. My heart sinks. They're going to say no. However, a witch continues. The practical benefits cannot be ignored. Dragon healing could save countless lives. Dragon tracking could solve problems we currently cannot. And frankly, the council would rather have dragons as allies than as enemies. Hope flickers. The Fae representative leans forward. There would be conditions. Dragons would register with the council. Provide services when called upon. Submit to monitoring to ensure compliance. Monitoring. Freya's voice is ice. You mean surveillance. We mean accountability. The wolf representative, an older woman with alpha written all over her, fixes us with a stern look. Dragons are powerful. The council needs assurance you won't abuse that power. We've been hiding for decades, Takashi says quietly. We've harmed no one. We only want to live in peace. Peace with oversight, the 5th council member says. A sphinx shifter, rare and commanding. The council agrees to your proposal, with modifications. Dragons will be protected under supernatural law. Hunting dragons becomes illegal, punishable by death. In exchange, you provide services quarterly, register your locations, and submit to annual reviews of conduct. It's not perfect. It's not even great. But it's survival. Kael looks at me, and through the bond I feel his question. What do you think? I think we don't have better options. I think it's a start. We agree, Kael says formally. On behalf of the surviving dragons, we accept the council's terms. There's one more condition, the lead hunter says, and there's something odd in her expression. The Omega. She stays with you. Yes, Kael says immediately, protectively. She's my mate. Then she's part of the treaty too. Dragons and their mates receive protection. But she'll need to register as well, as bonded to a dragon. That makes her valuable. A target. I'm already a target, I point out. At least this way I'm a legally protected target. The hunter almost smiles. Fair point. She extends her hand to Kael. My name is Helena. I've been hunting dragons for 20 years. It will be strange to protect them instead. Kael hesitates, then shakes her hand. I've been hiding for 60 years. It will be strange to be seen. Well then. Helena releases his hand and addresses all of us. Welcome to society. Try not to burn anything important. The integration isn't easy. Registering means giving up secrets we've kept for lifetimes. Being known means being watched, judged, feared. But it also means being free. Kael and I settle in a small town in Montana, close enough to civilization for supplies, far enough for privacy. Freya visits monthly, less prickly now, almost friendly. Takashi has become the council's favorite dragon for healing work. Maria is learning to control her fire with confidence she never had before. We find 3 more dragons. Then 2 more. Then one who'd been trapped in human form for decades, too afraid to shift. 10 dragons. Not enough to rebuild a species, but enough to build a community. And the bond. It's everything. I wake every morning knowing exactly where Kael is, what he's feeling. He does the same with me. We share dreams sometimes, emotions always. Should be invasive. Instead, it's intimate in ways I never imagined. He's teaching me more advanced combat. I'm teaching him how to interact with humans without terrifying them. We're both works in progress. One morning, I wake to find him staring at me with an expression I can't quite read. What? I ask, self-conscious. I was thinking about the day you fell into my territory. How angry I was that the universe gave me a mate when I'd resigned myself to dying alone. His hand brushes my hair back. I was convinced it was a curse. That bonding to you would just mean losing someone else I loved. And now I think maybe the universe knew what it was doing. You saved me, Emma. Not just from hunters or loneliness. You saved me from myself. From 60 years of believing I deserved to suffer. My throat tightens. Kael. I love you. The words are simple, but through the bond I feel the weight of them, the depth of emotion, the absolute certainty. I loved you when you were bleeding in a ravine being sarcastic. I loved you when you demanded I teach you to fight. I love you now, every day more than the day before. I love you too, I whisper. Even though you snore. Even though you're possessive and paranoid, and you hoard coffee like a dragon hoards gold. He laughs. I do not hoard coffee. You have 17 bags of coffee beans in the pantry. That's hoarding. That's being prepared. I kiss him to shut him up, and the bond flares between us, warm and bright and permanent. We have challenges ahead. The council isn't always reasonable. Some shifters still fear dragons. We're still learning to trust a world that hunted us. But we're learning together. I think about the girl I was 6 months ago. Abandoned, powerless, convinced she was worthless. And I think about who I am now. Bonded to a dragon, part of a growing community. Finally understanding that my worth was never about shifting or pack acceptance. It was always about choosing to survive. Choosing to fight. Choosing to love despite the risk. Later that day, Freya arrives with news. Found another one. In Australia. She's scared, but she's willing to meet. Then we go, Kael says immediately. We go, I echo. 'Cause that's what we do now. We find the lost. The hidden. The survivors who think they're alone. We bring them home. We build something new from the ashes of what was lost. And when the nightmares come, and they do come, when I dream of falling, of being abandoned, of Marcus's cold eyes pushing me toward death, I wake to Kael's arms around me and the bond humming with reassurance. You're safe. You're loved. You're home. I never thought I'd have a home again. Never thought I'd be valuable to anyone. But I was wrong. Because sometimes being abandoned is just the universe's way of leading you exactly where you belong. And I belong here. With dragons and possibilities and a mate who sees me. Really sees me, and loves what he finds. 3 months later, at a gathering of all 12 dragons we've found, Takashi proposes something radical. We should have a clan again. Not the old clans, those are gone. But a new one. All of us, different types of dragons, choosing to be family. The Unity clan, Maria suggests. Everyone looks at Kael. He's the oldest, the most experienced. The natural leader. Even if he doesn't see himself that way. He looks at me and through the bond. What do you think? I think you've been alone long enough. I think they need you. And I think you need them. Kael stands, and when he speaks, his voice carries the weight of someone who survived the impossible. I spent 60 years believing I didn't deserve family. That I'd lost that right when I failed my clan. But Emma taught me something. He finds my eyes. Family isn't about blood or tradition or being perfect. It's about choosing each other. Every day. Even when it's hard. He looks around at the assembled dragons. fire and ice, young and ancient, all survivors. So yes, the Unity Clan. We choose each other. We protect each other. We build something new. His hand finds mine. And we never abandon our own. Not ever. The vote is unanimous. That night, 12 dragons and 1 human. One impossible, stubborn human who refused to stay dead. Stand on a mountain and roar at the stars. It's not the sound of extinction. It's the sound of rebirth. And it's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. The Unity Clan now numbers 23 dragons and 17 mates. We have territory in Montana, a council seat, and a reputation for showing up when other shifters need help. Kael and I built a house. Not a cave despite his protests. Actual walls, windows, running water. He still complains it's too exposed. I still tell him he's paranoid. We're both right. I'm working with the council on integration programs for other, extinct shifters who might be hiding. Turns out we're not the only ones. Last month we found a phoenix. Next week we're checking on rumors of a sea serpent off the coast of Ireland. The world is stranger and more wonderful than anyone realized. And me. The girl who couldn't shift. The dead weight her pack abandoned. I became something else entirely. Not a dragon. I'll never shift, and I've made peace with that. But through the bond, through 2 years of living with Kael, something changed. Can sense magic now. Channel the bond's energy. Helena, who's become an unlikely friend, calls me a conduit. Someone who bridges the gap between humans and shifters, between different magical species. Apparently that's rare. Valuable. I try not to think about the irony. One evening I find Kael on our porch, staring at the sunset. Through the bond I feel his contentment but also something deeper. A bittersweetness. Thinking about them. I ask, settling beside him. He knows I mean his original clan. Always. But it doesn't hurt the way it used to. I used to think remembering them meant drowning in guilt. Now I realize remembering them means keeping them alive. They'd be proud of you. Of what you've built. What we've built. He pulls me close. I couldn't have done this alone. Well, no. You're terrible at people's skills. He laughs, the sound rumbling through his chest. True. We sit in comfortable silence, watching the day fade. In the distance, I hear Maria teaching a new dragon how to control her fire. Freya arguing with Takashi about hunting techniques. The sounds of family. Do you ever regret it? Kael asks suddenly. The bond. You didn't choose this. Didn't choose me. If you could go back. I'd fall into that ravine again, I interrupt. Every time. Without hesitation. Even knowing how hard it would be. Especially knowing that. Because hard doesn't mean not worth it. I turn to face him. You gave me a life worth living, Kael. You gave me value when everyone else saw dead weight. You gave me family when I'd lost everything. No. No regrets. Not a single one. His kiss tastes like smoke and promises like home and forever. When we break apart, he rests his forehead against mine. I was so angry when the bond snapped into place. I thought it was the universe's cruelest joke, giving me something to lose right when I'd learned to be alone. And now I think it was the universe's greatest gift. You didn't just save me from loneliness, Emma. You saved me from giving up. From believing I didn't deserve to try again. We saved each other, I correct. That's how this works. A roar echoes from the valley. Playful young. One of the dragon children born this year. The first dragon birth in 70 years. The sound of hope made real. Kael's arms tighten around me. Thank you. For what? For being stubborn. For refusing to give up on me. On all of this. He gestures at the clan gathering below, at the life we've built. For falling into my territory and changing everything. I laugh. Technically, I was pushed. Best thing that ever happened to me. Second best, I correct. The best thing was choosing to save me instead of leaving me to die. That wasn't a choice. The bond demanded. The bond suggested. Chose. And you keep choosing every day. Kiss him softly, That's what makes us work. Not fate or magic or impossible bonds. Just two people choosing each other. Every single day. As the sun sets and the clan gathers for dinner, dragons and mates, old and young, all of us survivors who found each other in the darkness, I realize something profound. I'm not the girl who was abandoned anymore. I'm the woman who survived, who fought, who built a family from ashes and hope. I'm Emma, mate to the last mountain clan dragon, member of the Unity clan, conduit between worlds. And I'm finally, impossibly, home. Kael's hand finds mine, the bond humming between us with perfect contentment. In his golden eyes I see my future, complicated and challenging and absolutely worth it. Ready to face tomorrow, he asks. With you. Always. Because that's the thing about finding where you belong. It's not about being perfect or powerful or even whole. It's about finding someone who sees your broken pieces and says, yes. Always you. And I found that in a dragon who thought he was the last of his kind. Turns out we were both wrong about being alone. We just needed to fall into the right ravine. From abandoned Omega to dragon's mate to clan member, Emma's journey proves that sometimes the worst thing that ever happens to you is actually the first step toward everything you were always meant to be. And sometimes, being left to die is just the universe's violent way of pushing you toward the life you were always supposed to live.